Everyone knows the tale: sugar, spice, and chemical X. But behind the sweet story is a wild truth: late nights, bold art school ideas, and raw censorship. Let's open the door to one of the saddest secrets in cartoon history. Before anyone ever heard of Chemical X, there was something even wilder: a strange cartoon idea called Whoop-Ass Stew. That's right. In the very beginning, the famous Powerpuff Girls were not created in a shiny lab in Townsville by accident. They came from the wild imagination of a young art student named Craig McCracken, who was studying at the California Institute of the Arts, also known as Cal Arts. This school is famous for being the place where many creative cartoon makers got their start. While working on a project during his second year, Craig didn't want to draw a big, strong superhero like everyone else. Instead, he wanted to make something that would surprise people. Something very different from the usual superhero stories. He liked the idea of contrast, mixing things up that normally don't go together. One day, while he was drawing a birthday card for his brother, he came up with an image that would change everything. Inspired by the large-eyed artwork of an artist named Margaret Keane, Craig drew three little girls with big heads, tiny arms and legs, and huge eyes. They looked cute and harmless, but that was the whole point. He began to imagine what it would be like if these sweet-looking girls were actually superheroes. It was funny, exciting, and totally unexpected. And that's how the idea began to take shape.
Not so fast, boys!
It's the Whoop-Ass Girls! Let's get 'em, boys!
Craig's first short film about these girls wasn't called the Powerpuff Girls. It was called Whoop-Ass Stew. The Whoop-Ass Girls in a Sticky Situation. That's a mouthful. And yes, the word whoop-ass was in the title. In this version, the professor didn't use Chemical X. Instead, he added a literal can of whoop-ass to the mix of sugar, spice, and everything nice. The result was three tiny girls with enormous power. This early short film was rough and not polished like the show we know today. It showed the girls fighting the amoeba boys and even flying them straight into the sun. The action was loud, fast, and not very kid-friendly. But that was the point. These weren't gentle superheroes. They were full of energy and power.
Will you guys shut up? You three are the lousiest, most pathetic criminals ever to walk the street. You stink. We don't ever want to see you again. Get out of town. Don't ever come back. Get out. Get out. Get out.
The idea was to take something that looked soft and sweet, like little girls, and show that they could be just as powerful and tough as any other superhero out there. After finishing school, Craig started working at Hanna-Barbera, a famous cartoon company that was starting to make fresh new shows again. One big project at a time was What a Cartoon, a series that allowed young artists to show off their cartoon ideas. Many big shows came out of this project, including Dexter's Laboratory and Johnny Bravo. Craig brought his Whoop-Ass Girls idea along and made two pilot episodes: Meet Fuzzy Lumpkins and Crumb Snatchers. The basic idea stayed the same: little girls with superpowers.
Did I miss anything? Oh, look! Bad guys! Stand back, girls! No, don't!
Thanks, Blossom!
But there was a big problem. The people in charge of the network didn't like the name. They said you can't use the word ass in a cartoon for kids. You also couldn't say the girls got their power from a can of whoop-ass. That's when Craig and his team came up with a new idea: Chemical X. Chemical X was a made-up substance that sounded mysterious, dangerous, and scientific. It let the team keep the idea of unexpected power, but without the bad words. Now, instead of the professor adding the power on purpose, the Chemical X was an accident. It spilled into the mix by mistake. This small change added a deeper meaning to the story. It showed that sometimes, even a smart scientist can make a surprise mistake that leads to something amazing. The way the Powerpuff Girls look also has an interesting story. Their big eyes were inspired by Margaret Keane's art, but some early sketches were very different. For example, in the beginning, Bubbles was supposed to wear green and Buttercup was going to be blue. In the final version, their colors switched, and this felt more natural to their personalities. Bubbles is sweet and calm, so blue fits her. Buttercup is tough and wild, so green made more sense.
Yeah, but all the fun stuff happens at night. Parties, dancing, nightclubs and stuff. Girl, it'll be awesome once we're old enough to go out after dark. Right, Bubbles? No. What do you mean, no? I don't know. You're not afraid of the dark, are ya?
The girls also have no fingers, noses, or ears, and they don't even have necks. This wasn't just to be silly, it was a way to keep their design simple so they could move in funny and expressive ways. Their body language and huge eyes helped show every emotion, and it made the animation fun to watch. Their enemy, Mojo Jojo, also has an interesting background. His look was inspired by a Japanese show from the 1970s called Spectre Man. The villain in that show, Dr. Gory, was a smart monkey who wanted to rule the earth, just like Mojo Jojo. His big brain and helmet were directly copied for the Powerpuff Girls' #1 enemy.
Jisha, I think you mean Mojo Jojo! That's right, scream, cower, fear me!
At first glance, the story of how the Powerpuff Girls were made seems simple and even sweet. We're told that Professor Utonium wanted to create the perfect little girl using science. But things didn't go as planned, and instead of 1 girl, he got 3. That's how Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup came to life. But some fans believe there's more to the story. Something deeper and maybe even sadder hiding beneath the surface.
Now, girls, being scared doesn't make you a baby. I was scared when I heard my girls screaming. But did I hide under the covers? You see, bravery doesn't mean you're not scared. Bravery is doing what you're afraid to do. If you can just face your fears, then I know you can find the courage to beat them.
In the show's opening, it clearly says the professor wanted the perfect little girl. Just one. That made fans ask, why did he want a daughter so badly? Some think he may have lost someone close to him, a wife and child, and was trying to make up for that pain through science. Maybe the girls were his way of bringing back what he had lost. The show never confirms this idea, but there are small moments where the professor seems lonely or full of longing. His strong wish to be a father gives this theory some weight. It adds a quiet sadness to his character and makes the girl's creation feel like it came from heartbreak, not just a lab experiment. There's another wild theory that Chemical X, the stuff that gave the girls their powers, might be connected to the show's most evil villain, him. Some fans believe him may have tricked the professor or somehow gave him Chemical X on purpose to cause chaos. Him is ancient and always wants to bring trouble, so this theory fits his creepy style. These fan ideas aren't in the show, but maybe they say something real. Maybe the professor didn't just want to make heroes. Maybe he wanted to fix something that broke a long time ago. Maybe he made the girls to fill a space that science couldn't fix. Behind the bright colors and funny fights, maybe there's a man who's still hurting. Maybe the saddest part? The one thing he wanted was already gone.